Good morning. Welcome to You Are the Key. I'm Karen Lacey, owner of Alternative Choices Wellness Center in Buena Vista, Colorado. Thank you for joining me today and listening in on foundational health, which is going to encompass food, water, exercise, really the foundational things that you are in control of every day, that you do 24/7 a day, and just giving you some good tips that if you are needing some instruction or needing to find out what better ways to take care of yourself, then that's what I'm going to give you information-wise. Please note that I am not a certified nutritionist. This is just from my journey of 14 years of being in holistic health and 3 years before that of healing myself. And so this is information that I share on to you, which I do every day with my clients in my work. And so I'm putting this on film because inevitably it's hard to get people to come in and listen to you talk because they like to sit at home in their pajamas and have their little snack. And so we're making this really easy on you to see it through a video. And so I hope that you will take advantage of this and learn and make some changes for yourself, because health is about self-responsibility, self-care, and self-love. And I found this out through the years, through my own process and my own healing. And what I found was that the light bulb that went on is that we have gotten so in tune, society, to investing in other things outside of us, and yet taking care of ourselves is investing in ourselves. And so today I want you to take a walk with me and decide whether you want to invest in yourself or not. And so we're going to start with, first and foremost, I want to kind of clear the air on energy, because I talk about energy a lot. I follow quantum physics, which I believe is the real science, but energy is just an action word for me. An action word as far as that it's movement, it's vitality, it's power. And so I'm gonna, when you feel like, when you wake up in the morning and you say, oh, I just don't have any energy. It's like you don't have the vitality, you don't have the power to pull yourself out of bed. That's what energy is. Energy is all around us. Everything is made up of energy, even if we can't see it. The wind is energy, but we can't see it, but we can feel it. So let's get that out of the way. It's really not a scary term. We are that energy. We are that electrical cellular energy, which is what I get into and what I work with. So put your fears aside. It's really not that detrimental. So first I want to start with foods. And foods is a really big key for me, because what you're putting in your body is how your body and your health are going to function. So I have two terms for food in my vocabulary, and one is dead food, one is live food. Okay, and I bet you can probably guess where I'm going here. The dead food is processed foods, foods that have been manufactured and maybe altered in ways, or we now in this world are dealing with the term of GMO, genetically modified organisms. And what they're doing is they are messing with the food at the seed level, and they're pesticiding it and everything before it even goes into the ground, and things like that. And let me just kind of dispel the misnomer on those things, because inevitably I always hear from people in regards to conventional and organic foods when you go to the grocery store to buy them. One thing I can tell you that I learned on my own is conventional food that has been sprayed with pesticides or chemicals are not allowed to fully create and grow with nutrients and grow to their fullest, that they have enzymes in them and things like that the body needs in order to digest. Live foods that are organic, that have not been pesticided, they don't have those chemicals on them, so they are going to grow to their fullest potential with nutrients and enzymes, so that our body actually gets the nutrition from it and we have the enzymes in that food for it to digest properly, because we have a nation now that has like leaky gut issues and digestive issues, bad flora, which goes right into that that realm of why antibiotics are no longer working, because even with the meats and the antibiotics and the hormones that they're putting into the animals, we are eating through that food, and that can be detrimental to our health. The other thing on processed foods is they are specifically putting chemicals in that food that will addict you to them, for one, and the other is they cause excitotoxins in the brain. So when we realize that we have this medical term of ADD, ADHD with our children, let me tell you, the first thing you need to really realize is, what are the foods that your child is putting in their body? And are there chemicals there that are possibly causing those excitotoxins in their brain, which is why they can't focus? And they're not getting the nutrition in the body as well that's satisfying and that type of thing. I look at food as in an analogy that gas is to a car as food is to our body. Another term I want to put forth to you to really think about, and that's what I'm trying to do, is see if you can, the light bulb will go on inside and teach you something, is, are you living to eat, or are you eating to live? And that's the question I want you to ask yourself, because it is an internal thing. And eating and food also can become that emotional piece. And it can become a factor that we are so unconscious to. No different than alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, that we will grab because we are emotionally depleted, or that a trauma has caused that emotional, what do I want to say? I'm losing my word there. Emotional instability, really. And so, you know, we can take it from there and look at that. And this is when I go back to, are you investing in you? Are you loving you enough to take care of you? We get so focused on taking care of everybody else that we forget about ourselves. And I'm one of those culprits. I really am. I can go and things like that. My thing has become that I have to eat, otherwise my insulin and the cortisol kick in, and boy, the weight comes right on. So food-wise, let me just make sure that I'm getting everything here that I want to hit on. When you're choosing foods, choosing foods, what I always suggest as well is, nowadays we are so blessed, and especially in this valley of the Ark Valley, Buena Vista, and Chaffee County and things like that, is we have these amazing CSA farms that are growing these organic foods, the food markets in a lot of the communities that are coming around. The biggest thing that I push there is buying local foods, not foods that have been driven in for thousands of miles, okay? Because how often do you go to the grocery store and you still buy that organic food, and in 3 days it's starting to break down and it's rotting and things like that? Well, it's because it's come from so far. And so when people say, I can't afford to eat organically, what I'm going to tell you is, that's the investment you put within yourself. But when you are buying live food like that, you are putting the nutrients into this body. And so what I want you to factor in on that food and the price of that food is it going to keep you out of the doctor's office? Because how much does that cost you? How much is your deductible on your health insurance policy? How much time is it taking you away from work? And you know, overall, the stress that it puts on the body. And so those are things I want you to think about when it comes to your food. Food is really, really important, and we really need to think about it. The meats, good proteins, grass-fed meat, a lot of it will have its own built-in omega-3 oils in it. Fats, oh, that's a big subject for me, because the misnomer with heart disease and where they went years ago, and brought vegetable oils out saying that these were going to save people's life. The problem with that, and it is in the book, I have a book here, it's called The Coconut Oil Miracle. Coconut oil is an oil in its pure virgin full state that will never oxidize, it will never get rancid, it never turns to a trans fat at high heat, and it is an oil that never stores in your body. Your body uses it as energy. They are actually doing scientific research tests, medical research tests, and people with Alzheimer's, they're actually waking them up. This is a medium chain fatty acid oil, and so it is made up of caprylic and lauric acids, and they're finding that those acids are really valuable in the body. You can put this on your skin, you can eat it, you can use it in your baking goods. If you use it in your baking goods, any sweetener that you put in there is going to metabolize slower, and so not giving the body an insulin push, that type of thing. Dr. Bruce Fife did many years of research on this, and the vegetable oils against coconut oil, and even virgin palm oil. Is another good oil that he found. But what he found on the cholesterol myth was that the vegetable oils, when you buy them off the shelf, they are already rancid and oxidized from the fluorescent lights and just being on a shelf and the length, and if there's heat, if they're exposed to heat or anything like that. And then when you go to cook with it, it even gets that much more rancid and oxidized. Well, what happens with that when we take it in and digest and metabolize it, it has a sticky component to it. So guess what it does to our cholesterol? When it hits our cholesterol, it makes it sticky. The rancidity and the oxidation causes injuries to our blood vessels. And so in those injuries, they're like little ditches. And so when you have the cholesterol going through the blood and it's got that sticky component, that's where they're finding that's where we get the clogging that takes place. And so realistically, it's the vegetable oils really that are behind, they're saying, the cholesterol issue and the heart disease factor. And there's many studies that are being done on that. And so do your research. The internet is our friend if you're looking in it in a wise manner. The other piece is the sugars. Sugar is more addicting than cocaine or heroin in this world. And if you ever, and I've just observed this, and I know I'm being kind of serious right now and things like that, but this is a serious situation. This is your health. So when it comes down to it, sugar is one of those elements that is so processed and pulverized that the body can't digest it. But what it is a toxin actually to the body. It is like a poison. And if you've ever watched 1-year-olds on their first birthday and they get this cake put in front of them and they take that bite of cake and they take another when they're just like this surprise, but after a while you look at them and they're like in this sugar high. Well, all of our addictive components out there, alcohol is a sugar, fermented sugar, tobacco is a sugar product. And so when we look at this, realistically, sugar is our base addiction that we ever touch first and foremost before we do drugs or anything. But what it does to the body and what it does to the insulin factor is really dangerous. And we'll come back in a minute and I'll give you insights on to other alternative sweeteners that we have as well. Did you know that research is showing that stress is one of the biggest harms to our health and well-being, whether it be physical, emotional, or mindful? Are you struggling with that situation every day, trying to find your balance again in physical, emotional, mind, or all three together? Hi, I'm Karen Lacey, owner of Alternative Choices Wellness Center in Buena Vista, Colorado, and I'm so excited today to announce that I am a certified brainwave optimization technician. Brainwave optimization is a process of helping the brain relax into a deep state so that it can self-optimize and balance through a computer technology that reads the frequencies of the brain, comes back around in a closed circuitry into musical acoustic tones that the brain chooses itself to balance and mirror itself so that it can self-optimize. What's an optimized brain? An optimized brain is one that can go in and stay in a relaxed state, but then still have the flexibility to go into a fight or flight state when you have stress or trauma. And once that event is over with, then you are able to go back into rest mode. Most of us who have concurrent stress, we get stuck in that stress state, and that is really the purpose of brainwave optimization. Today with this ad, I am offering a special of 20% off your first 4 sessions of brainwave optimization that is called an intensive session. You have until May 31st to book this with me. So give me a call at 719-239-2007 to get more information or book your sessions and, you know, balance your brain, change your life. Welcome back. I'm going to take a step back to the fats for just a moment because there was something that I really wanted to touch on that I found really kind of comical years ago. And do you remember those potato chips that they came out with? And they were using, and I can't remember the name of the oil that they were cooking them in, but they were supposed to be fat blockers from the fat storing in your body and everything. But inevitably, what was just so ironic was they had a warning on those chips that said may cause anal leakage. Now, people really, you know, if there's a warning on a food, really you need to be scrupulous as to whether you want to put that in your body or not. But because frankly, I'm sorry, I'm not going to put anything in my body that's going to cause anal leakage. And so I hope you find that comical too, and that you watch out what you are purchasing. Anything that has a warning on it is not something that's going to be nutritious or healthy for your body. Now we'll get back to plant-based sugars. Our spleen in Chinese model of medicine, it loves sweet. It loves sweet flavors and everything. And we have those natural things available to us, and they're called fruits, organic fruits. And yes, they have come out with lists of, you know, foods that are okay if you buy them conventionally because they have a thick skin on them, and then the ones that aren't, you know, type of thing. Again, I look at the nutrient value and the full aspect of that food to fully grow to its fullest capacity of nutrients and enzymes and things like that. So on sweeteners, what I look at is raw honey from our beautiful bees. And I'll look at raw agave nectar, and raw organic agave nectar has not been processed, because that's another misnomer that has come out, that some of the agave nectars are being processed where they're no different than like the high fructose corn syrup. I haven't done enough of the studies on that. Just know that that information is out there. The other piece is there are stevias, which have no glycemic level, and so really great for the diabetic group of people. Stevia, aspartame, not stevia, I'm sorry, Splenda, aspartame, NutraSweets. Those are all manufactured sweeteners that really are dangerous. And let me tell you, they're dangerous to the central nervous system. So please, you know, do your research. Don't just listen to me. I always encourage people, find this information out for yourself. Keep searching. Find the resources, and there are many out there. Dr. Mercola has a website. I think it's called drmercola.com. He has done a lot of research. He has a lot of articles on his website, and a lot of people, they need to have that professional doctor wisdom in order to really feel that it's good information. So I encourage you, go find it. The other piece is Oh, when you're choosing a plan, you know, the dieting craze in our world of, you know, losing weight and things like that. I personally am one that just does not like the term diet, because to me it always seemed like this temporary thing that I'm going to diet and I'm going to lose this weight, and then people stop after they've lost their weight and they go back, and really what have they learned? So I like to call it eating for life, that if you are making a change and investing in yourself, then you are going to make that change for life. And so learning to eat right for you. There's a lot of plans out there. There's a paleo diet. There is the blood type diet, you know, those types of things. If you're going to choose those, make that commitment and that investment in you and do it for life and not just for a temporary season, because inevitably when we go through and we go on those diets and we lose the weight, and if we go off and we haven't learned anything, or we have not addressed the emotional piece and the emotional connection to food for us, we will gain all of that weight back plus some. So make sure that you are looking at the whole of you, physically, emotionally, mindfully. And then we'll move on to water. You know, water is water. It's a commodity. And, you know, bottled water is becoming one of those controversies because of the plastics that we are leaving in imprint we're leaving on this earth and things like that. And so, you know, there are choices of buying, you know, your water bottle that is sustainable and that you refill, things like that. At the home, what I use, I chose to get a whole house filtration system because I really don't like chlorine either. A little bit of chlorine, you know, we do need that mineral in our body and for our cells, but not a whole lot. I just decided to do a whole house filtration system at my house. Here at the center, I invested in a Kangen ionic alkaline water filtration system, which gives us the opportunity to choose different levels of that alkaline water to drink, or just straight filtered water, that type of thing. Around here, we have a lot of people who live in the rural areas where they have their own well water. And typically, well water is really pretty healthy. Some areas, it's really saturated with minerals, so you may want to get it tested. But water is, we are 75% water. The only way that our cells can communicate back and forth is if they have water in them and fat, good fat. The brain is 75% fat. That's why you need your good fats and things like that. And so these are the components I'm giving you today, are the things that you can do for free. You don't have to pay anybody to do. You already should be in the practice. If you, and you would not believe how many people that I see that don't drink water. And inevitably, I can tell you their health will domino effect and really start breaking down. If it's a matter, a lot of them, it's the fact that it doesn't taste like anything. So what I always suggest is the liquid stevias that are non-glycemic, and the body doesn't have to deal with it. If you put a few drops in your water, or you infuse them with organic lemons and oranges and cucumber and mint, that's a fat flush drink for you, and it's not going to inhibit the body at all as far as flushing and things like that. Your lymphatic system needs that water to help it flush out the toxicity of the body as well. Okay? The rule that, not the rule, but the guideline that I give people on water, and this came from a doctor on an article that I read, is 32 ounces for every 50 pounds of body weight is your typical daily intake, okay? Up here, we are in high altitude, we are in dry, arid weather here in Colorado, and so it is really easy for us to get dehydrated. Now, if you are incorporating into your daily regime coffee or the soda, I really, really encourage people to stay away from soda. It's just not good for the body at all. But the carbonation in it dehydrates the body. Coffee can dehydrate. And so the guideline is there, along with your 32 ounces for every 50 pounds of body weight, is if you drink, say, an 8-ounce cup of coffee, chase that with another 8 ounces of water to counteract that dehydration that it may cause. Alcohol, on the other hand, is another big thing, because for every ounce of alcohol, you need to chase it with 8 ounces of water. So think about that. That 4-ounce glass of wine, you need to chase with a quart of water so that it does not dehydrate you. So just some things to really think about what we do to ourselves and our body and things like that, because like I say, our cells then aren't communicating, we're not flushing, we're not getting things out, the toxins out of the body the way we need to. And you have that buildup of toxins, guess what? The internal system becomes, the pH becomes acidic instead of a balanced 7.0 between acid and alkaline. And an acidic terrain inside the body is what will allow microbes to really take off and go into that dis-ease state of the terrain and the body itself and health-wise, okay? Let me see if there's anything else on that aspect. No, we'll go into exercise, because that's the third one on the list. Exercise is one of those things that really, again, goes along with the energy of the body. And exercise is movement. And our muscles need to keep moving, because otherwise we get stiff. How many of you done that and become this couch potato, and then you get up to really start getting into that, you know, weight loss regime, and you got to start exercising, and all of a sudden it's just like it hurts? Well, pain is energy blockage. We will return and we'll get more into that.
There was a time when the convenience store was the hub of every town. At All Goods Quick Stop, we still value community. Stop in and you will find convenience and friendly service. We have healthy snacks, beverages, maps of all kinds, hunting and fishing licenses, fishing gear, and camping supplies. We are a state-of-the-art convenience store with a car wash on premises. Come on in and check out our sparkling clean restrooms. We also have free air. All Goods Quick Stop in Buena Vista. Just look for the Phillips 66 sign.
Welcome back. I'm going to shift back to the water situation, because I forgot to expound on my practices with water as well. And a lot of times, like when I'm out eating at a restaurant, or on the road, or even at home, I will incorporate lemon into my water. And lemon in your water there's so many health benefits to that. But what I use it for when I'm out at a restaurant is it actually helps to disguise the chlorine in the water that I really taste, because I drink filtered water and things like that. But it also, lemon in your water helps you digest and your foods better. It helps cleanse the liver gallbladder meridian. And so, and lemon may be known as an acidic fruit outside, but when lemon goes into the body and the internal terrain, it is an alkalinizer. And so if you are having heartburn or something like that, incorporating some lemon in your water can really help with that, as opposed to the Tums that people just eat all the time. And Tums are known to do some really nasty things in the system as well. And there's studies done on that, and there's information and things like that. Not to, just coin one product or anything like that, but there are natural ways for you to combat that acid reflux and the heartburns and things like that. In fact, there's a food that works really well as well, and that's celery. If you are having heartburn or acid reflux, try eating, a stalk of celery, because it can work very well as well. Now we'll go ahead and step back into the exercise. and hit on that. And exercise is just vital for us. I mean, we are moving beings. I mean, you know, in order to keep your bones healthy, you have got to keep the resistance of those muscles moving against those bones in order to keep those bones healthy, okay? When you are working out, if you are dealing with depression, anxiety, anything like that, that if you go out and don't overexert yourself, especially with anxiety, because that could be something with the adrenal glands, that you're in that fight or flight situation. And if you overpush yourself, you're going to throw yourself even further into that. But if you go out and just take a nice leisurely walk and just breathe, and breathing, that's another one. I'll get to in a minute. But if you take that leisurely walk, what happens when we exercise is it allows us to excrete certain hormones called endorphins. And those endorphins help with elevating our mood, elevating our happiness and things like that. And just even getting outside to connect with Mother Earth energetically, because we're energetically connected all as one anyways, it really helps restore the emotional well-being of us and stuff. And like I said, getting the blood moving, getting the heart pumping. Because if we get sedentary, then this thing will just get used to just pumping at a certain rate. And then when you do start to move, boy, you're going to feel it. So we need to keep moving optimally. Like I said, physically, emotionally, mentally, it's very much, very, very important. The breathing. This is something that I had to learn. And with my scanning in the metabolism categories and things like that, the cells will let me know if they are oxygen depleted and things like that. And when I see that, it's either that we're not getting, like I said before, enough water in the system to have that energy and that electrical component of communication with them, or we're not breathing right. And because we have a nation that has succumbed to living through stress, we have become shallow breathers. And we don't even take full inhales even into the lungs. But the one way to really get oxygen into the cells is through belly breathing. And that is, yes, ladies, that skinny little waist that you wanted. At some point in time, you got to let it out and let that belly expand when you inhale, and then the lungs, and then exhale. And if you do that just rhythmically, watch a baby. Watch a baby's tummy when they're sleeping and they're breathing and their tummy's going in and out. It's not the lungs, it's the belly. And so if you were to sit and practice for 10 minutes a day, just some nice rhythmic belly breathing, you can take as much oxygen into your body, in fact, more than if you are rigorously working out, jogging, or anything, because jogging is an exercise where you're not taking in deep breaths, you're just doing this lung breathing. So really, jogging is one of those exercises that does not allow you. Walking is fabulous. You will take in a lot of oxygen if you are walking and breathing. The other thing with walking and rebounding on the little tramps that you've seen, I'm sure, on the internet or through stores or whatever, is the best way to keep your lymphatic system open, draining, and healthy. And that's a big part of the immune system. And it carries and flushes out toxicity. So that's why you need to keep moving. Because if you get stagnant, and whenever you're having pain and things like that, pain is that blocked energy. It's not moving. It's not able to, circulate through the system and move and things like that. So I encourage you to get up and move every day, whether it is just at the end of your block or back or down the street or back, whatever it may be. that I encourage you to start. And any of you that need advice from your medical people, whatever, totally encourage that. Totally encourage that in order for you to get your confidence up and know that you are doing the right things for you and your situation and where you are in your physical, emotional, and mindful status and state of where you are at. So it's about investing in you and doing the things and maybe making changes in those daily practices that you're already doing, that you don't have to spend money to have somebody else do for you, okay? And so I just wanted to give you that information today so that you have this video that you can refer back to, or helps you get started with information that you're needing in order to get started and help give you that oomph of courage and power to do that. So today I just want to kind of recap on what we've talked about, and it's the foods, dead or live. Are you living to eat, or are you eating to live? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. And you are really, really worth it to take care and invest within yourself. Then there's the water. If you want to save the imprint on the earth with the plastics, grab you a water bottle, carry it with you. I carry mine with me all the time, and things like that. Otherwise, if you grab that plastic bottle, then refill it. You reuse it, and I know recycling is great. They're actually making buildings out of these plastic bottles, earth buildings and things like that. They're building schools in other countries with these, so it's great to see that we're utilizing that imprint. But if we can factor it down and minimize that, it would be great. Plus the money that you're spending as well. Factor that in. I'd rather see you spend that money on good quality food and then utilize your sustainable resource for your water and things like that. And exercising, it's just fun. It's fun, it's joyful. Get out there, get out with your kids, your animals, all of it. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to enjoy this earth. It really uplifts us on a spiritual level as well. And meditation is another one of those that is really, really healthy for this body to be able to go within. But with my other work, with the brainwave optimization, I've realized that there are people out there that are so stuck in fight or flight from the consistent stress, because the brain metabolizes that into trauma. It gets stuck there, and people are not able to get into a deep state of meditation, prayer, or mindfulness. Their brain won't shut down. If you're one of those, give me a call. As you'll see on my ad this month, brainwave optimization, I'm a technician, and we can definitely look at relaxing that brain a little bit. Or the bioenergy body scanning, addressing the body as a whole, getting that balance, and that's a place to start as well. And so I offer a lot of modalities in which to help you start that balance and things like this, but I wanted to provide this video for you free to help you get a start. And because no matter what we ever decide to go do or get involved with, we have to be informed in order to make a conscious decision on which direction we need to move on our path forward. Thank you, and I hope you join me again.